Please don't call me an influencer.
Oh, you are not?
I'm talented. So in advertising, I was selling cola. In Sesame Street, I was telling kids, don't drink cola. So many times, you take a thought up on stage. Then when there's zero reaction, you hear the crickets, you're like, what? Just me? मुझे ही funny लग रहा था.
So, what has stood out for you in 15 years of doing stand-up comic?
You watch these comedians over the years, everyone has started talking about their personal life. Someone will talk about going to therapy, somebody will talk about their heartbreak, somebody will talk about like their mom passing away, somebody talked about. A lot of people tend to see the content and not the intent and then get offended. Tama is a kid. He also needs growing up. And I have to say that the show did a lot of good for people too. There were so many people writing in gratitude to Samay.
Honestly, I like the way Samay talks and the way that he actually gives his subtle punches. Sadly, now he is, of course, the front of the scanner. कौन जेल जा रहा है? अभी सब यही हो, सब ठीक है.
Well, the FIRs are coming in and oh sorry, भगवान के नाम पे ये एडिट कर.
So, welcome to Discover Your Second Act podcast one more time. And this time, there is somebody who breaks all norms, talks about a lot of gender biases and not so biased about it, has the courage to stand up. And literally, she comes from a space of watching everything very carefully so that she can give a punchline on top of that. So, welcome, Neeti Palta.
Hello.
And this is a Second Act podcast, and I want to start with the question. Second Act is about अपनी जिंदगी को पलटना. You are the person who has paltoed everything. So welcome to the Paltne ka episode and talking a lot about it. So second act it is. How are you feeling in this hot, sweaty Delhi ka weather?
I'm waiting for a second act from the weather, honestly.
Lovely. So as the name, of course, you have paltoed your life. Let's start from start then, okay?
Okay.
So I want to show you a picture which we found on your Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and that is about this beautiful person, human.
Babu.
Okay. And, since this was your first Instagram post, tell us more about this beautiful lady, the most iconic queen, and who the hell is she that she takes the first post on your Instagram handle?
Her name is Socks. She is the first dog
Socks.
that I've raised on my own without mom, dad, and all that support. And yeah, she was like the naughtiest little thing I've ever had. And like all mothers showing their bachche ka photo, she had to be the first one on my Insta.
Okay, so you are mothering her.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you told that you also lost her last year.
I lost.
Sorry about that. How did the name Socks come about?
When she came to me, like she had these 4 white paws and looked like she was wearing socks on all. So
Oh, so cute. Okay. So you also were showing me some more photos.
Yeah.
Of
because listen, as a mother, can't we play favorites? So here are my other puppies.
so cute. And so what are their names?
Black and white one is Punch, short for Punchline. She's like the most, I don't know, she's the most complicated dog I've ever had.
Okay.
And that's her son, Panga.
Panga.
Because Punchline se hi Panga hota hai.
Very good. Punch sign se hi panga hota hai. So yeah, superb. So thank you for showing that. And I think that, like all mothers, you said, are always showing off their kids. So literally, I can say that you're a dog mother.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is that how you define your life as somebody getting into animal love, affection? Where did all that start with?
Childhood, I think both my parents are animal lovers. I've always had pets all my life.
Okay.
In fact, at one point, I had budgerigars, I had goldfish, I had turtles. We didn't know they were banned. They was like somebody had gifted me. They were
Saying that.
Aristotle and Plato. And I had a dog and I had rabbits.
Oh wow.
So my dad would answer the phone saying Palta's Ark.
Palta Zoo.
Like, yeah, I noticed.
Literally.
Yeah.
And where were these all like staying with you?
Yeah,
Or-
Fauji Ghar, na. So we used to have a big lawn, front lawn, back lawn. So yeah, they were all staying with us.
And now at this moment?
At
only
this
dogs?
moment, I only have dogs. I have some cats that seem to have adopted me, but they're outside the house because my dogs will kill them. And there's some more stray dogs, namely one of them, Rocky. He keeps bringing his friends in and out. They all stay outside.
So cool. So as I was reading about you, I know that you had a stint in advertising world. You were with JWT, you were on the panel of Comicstan, you were also the first one to be in the Melbourne Comedy Festival. I mean, so many accolades, but of course, very diverse. And that's what we love in Second Act. Like, you start somewhere else, you do something entirely different, and then you actually pivot to something that you had never thought before.
Yeah.
So, how did a transition from literal advertising? You were writing for them as well. And I know that, there's a stint that you also did with the Cartoon Network.
Yeah, we brought in Sesame Street into India.
Okay.
So they indigenize wherever they go. So we started our own gully. The show was called Gully Gully Sim Sim,
अच्छा.
which was basically Sesame Street India.
ओह सो कूल सो वहां से कैसे लगा कि हाँ भाई ह्यूमर है कोई मुझे कुछ ऐसा करना चाहिए कि मैं खड़ी हो जाऊं अब
I don't know, I mean, you're saying second act. It was a little harder to convince my dad because, he's a career Fauji.
Yes.
So for him to see, ठीक है, advertising में हो, all these years in advertising, you become a senior creative director in like India's #1 agency like J. Walter Thompson.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you give it all up and go to a small production house because you fall in love with the show, Sesame Street. And then you re-engineer your brain because writing for Muppets is completely different. In advertising, it's easy. I say, I give you this phone, you take the phone. It's easy to spit
Right.
out that thing.
Yeah.
In Muppet Land, some of these are rod Muppets, some are hand Muppets, some are walk around Muppets. So
Right.
if I say the two main characters, if I just say he handed the phone, those are 3 scene cuts because you have to paste it onto the Muppet, do this, then paste it onto that Muppet. It's very
It's very
technical
creative
also.
also,
Very
right?
technical, very creative. It's writing for children, so it's completely different. So in advertising, I was selling cola. In Sesame Street, I was telling kids, don't drink cola. So yeah, that was fun. And then stand-up just happened to me. So that was third, and my dad genuinely thought I'm like in the reverse gear of my career progression. He's like, क्या चाह रहे हो तुम?
नहीं बट हुआ कैसे
Stand up?
हाँ मतलब किसको कैसे पता चलता है कि आई एम कट आउट फॉर दिस
Look, my dad has a great sense of humor. So we used to always put, and my brother was very witty. We would our battle used to be words, right? Because I was the youngest. I mean, I am the younger one, so I can't physically beat Bhaiya, but words is what I would use. And stand up just happened that we used to watch funny movies together all the time. And we used to also watch a show called Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oh yeah.
The American improv
Of
show.
course.
So Colin Mockery and Brad Sherwood were coming down to Delhi, India, and I was very excited to catch their show. And you know how they take volunteers from the audience. So I was like jumping up and down, and they just kept ignoring me. So I'm like, ye nahi ho raha. I stood up on the chair and I jumped. So now how do you ignore, right? Because everybody is now. So they called me up, and it was that round where you make sound effects for whatever they're doing. And I had such a ball doing that he was like, you should try stand up. And I got very lucky that at that point, I didn't know that stand up existed in India. And Raghav Mandava and Malini of Cheese Monkey Mafia fame were there in the audience. They are the ones who used to run little open mics in Delhi. And they came to me after the show saying, why don't you come check out this scene? So, like everybody else thinks, I went and said, ye to main kar lungi. So, yeah.
नहीं so मतलब somebody said somebody identified and you reached there
I
but
reached
at
there
the same
and
time like कुछ तो होता होगा ना stand up comic करने के लिए कोई मतलब in this thing discovery of saying यार मैं punchline लिख सकती हूँ मैं ऐसे बोल सकती हूँ मैं इसके बारे में समझ सकती हूँ मतलब कैसे
I was already doing punchlines in advertising. I was already doing tags and, short stories and whatever. But I was always a writer since childhood. So I had my little funny limericks I would write and stuff. This was just like, I was like, हाँ ठीक है, jokes. I can do this. I would do observations and jokes. And also at that time, honestly, it came off as a hobby, right?
Mhm.
Like writer by day or whatever, professional by day, and like little bit of bratty comedian by night. And we were all brats. When we started out, we were all brats. We would say anything
What's
under the
changed?
sun. The fact that the lens is suddenly on us and we're like, what? We have to behave. When did this happen? So
तो कुछ लेंस ज्यादा ही है
अब तो कुछ अब लेंस नहीं, अब मैग्नीफाइंग लेंस है, एवरीथिंग जस्ट
अब तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक पहुंच जाते हो तुम
ओह या वी आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट
मिलाया हुआ है सुप्रीम कोर्ट को भाई
we are very important certainly interesting that comedians are a threat to national security. Did not know we were that important.
now you know
Yeah.
now you know like you said, words are the ones which actually make or break things, to be honest.
Yeah.
So your words are very important, and so we are all taking note of that. So did you also coin the word munch? And
Yeah,
वो
brand
कहाँ
is
से मतलब कैसे you were munching something and then you said चलो भाई इसका नाम munch रखते हैं
no
स्वाद है
honestly there used to be branding jobs all the time in advertising. We branded promos, we branded products, and this just happened. They were launching this new one, and chota mota jo brief diya tha. So uh, its job was to be that little quick filler between meals. So Munch came up like that, and it became quite a popular chocolate. So I have fun telling people, and they're like, I still remember one day I was like, I was in school when Munch came out. I said, yeah, yeah, I know.
yeah yeah but it still looks so young of course. Okay, so that's very interesting. And so advertising और जो आप अभी कर रहे हो, इसमें कोई similarity है या कुछ चीजें हैं जो कि you've transitioned into this?
Okay. See, advertising, yes, you think of tags and you're thinking of when you're writing your headlines, you're thinking of funny lines, you're thinking of quick. So when I started out comedy, I was a one-line comic, right?
Hmm.
There would always be set up punchline and
Hmm.
those kind of jokes. And then the drawback I found was that so many times I was more written funny than spoken funny because एक तरीका होता है deliver करने का and all. So I would write stuff down. It would be very funny, but when I would come up on stage, it would not translate like that.
Hmm.
So it would take step two, first writing it down, then walking around the house muttering, grabbing any friend who would listen or still be friends with me. कि please ये सुन ये कैसा है? And then वो धीरे धीरे it became more natural. So now I'm more spoken funny than written funny. उल्टा हो गया.
Okay, great. Okay, so as a part of having a lot of rejections in your ad campaigns or what you thought of, sounded very creative to doing what you're doing, it takes a while for anybody to get that confidence that अरे आज मेरी पिटाई भी होएगी तो चलो कोई बात नहीं. So, I mean, how is that? I'm sure, when you come on stage, if nobody's laughing, right? How do you take that? And how has failures in brackets like helped you to transition into something that you do so beautifully today?
So I have transitioned from saying audience बकवास है.
Audience ही बकवास है.
मैं तो बहुत अच्छी हूँ. Audience है not getting me, superior plane.
Right.
Then you get a reality check. You're like, maybe you need to be on their plane, buddy. So फिर वो करते करते you're honest with yourself. So many times, you take a thought up on stage. And then when there's zero reaction, you hear the crickets, you're like, what? Just me? मुझे ही funny लग रहा था. And then you build your material from there. You never get over failure, but you literally in this business, you're as good as your last show. So every time you have to reinvent, every time you have to come back and say, no, no, this time I'll come back stronger. Also, somewhere I keep now psyching myself, listen, it's okay if you fail. What's the worst that'll happen? People won't laugh. Okay, at least you're not a surgeon who failed or a pilot who failed because those will be bigger consequences. ठीक है यार नहीं हंसे तू जा तेरे को funny लगा है तू कर. So you have to put things in perspective and kind of pick yourself up and say चल चल कर.
नहीं बहुत it takes a lot. I'm sure it is a lot of courage to get on the stage, and then there's so much on the shoulder that you need to do something for somebody. You're having a big purpose of making people laugh, smile, go back happier than when they came, so that and then there are times I'm sure that it didn't go so well.
Yeah.
So how do you get up the next morning and perform again?
You have to. You don't have an option. It's your job. That's the thing. There are also ways to do this on stage when you're seeing that they're not connecting. When you've had enough experience as a comic, you won't just carry on with what you're doing,
Mhm.
right? Because it's not like tum ratke, I mean, I ho ratke, but ऐसा नहीं है कि you'll just keep at it. If you're seeing they're not reacting, you typically break into an engagement with the audience. क्या हो गया? What has happened? Who died? Like, what? You get into something and ask. And then you figure out what's going on, what's not. If they are not relating to the topic, you fall back on something else. You have it, which is why I keep saying the energy of a live show is very different from what you watch on YouTube.
Which is true.
It's magic. There is no other word for it, good or bad, but it's magic. So yeah, you pick yourself up and then you start off on something they do relate to, or you say, "Bear with me. I promise you'll understand why I'm going this way."
Okay. And then, it's also very commonly known or felt or read about that the comedians have something at the back. And doing comedy probably is a camouflage for the life that they are leading. Is that right? Wrong? What do you feel now that you're in this for the last almost 2 decades or 15?
Yeah, about 14, 15, 14 years, I think.
Is that right?
Yeah. I think as you grow older in the field, and what you'll see is more honesty on stage. You will definitely see, like, everybody starts off with low hanging fruit jokes. You'll do all your basic sex jokes, you'll do your everything else. Dheere dheere, now if you watch these comedians over the years, everyone has started talking about their personal life. Someone will talk about going to therapy, somebody will talk about their heartbreak, somebody will talk about like their mom passing away, somebody talked about. You just have to have that ear to see that someone is bringing their life to you on stage. And I keep telling people this joke that, comedians use stage as their therapy. The only difference is you pay to listen to us.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people who make you laugh, okay, and put themselves out there. When you read about their lives, somebody has taken away their life, in fact, or they are in circumstances which are completely like, taking them in the dark. And then they come in front of the crowd, and then again they have to make them laugh. So there is, of course, a lot which is going behind the scene. And in the times that we are in, it's so hard, I would feel, to lead like a normal life today. I'm sure that it's a lot of work that, it comes on as a responsibility to, you know, like hold the stage for a long time, make sure that you're giving your 100% when you're not feeling 100%. What is your mantra of like literally showing up when you don't feel like?
I guess it goes with the territory. Like, I'm sure there are other professions who show up for their job when there's everything going wrong backstage in their life, for example. If you Google, depression is the highest amongst stand-up comedians.
Yes.
For some reason. Because I guess, I don't know, I don't want to put us on a platform, but because when you're always thinking about life or thinking about what more to talk about, things get too real. And you have to sift through that and put it on stage so that it still makes somebody laugh. But you're still making your point of this is how reality is, and you're making someone laugh because you're trying to make them realize, right?
Yeah.
It's called holding up a mirror to society. I stopped reading newspapers. I got so depressed. I
Yeah.
stopped reading newspapers. Sometimes you feel like, so I mean, there's a case of Robin Williams.
Yeah.
There's a case where you talk about, even if you read up about Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Uh, Personal experience, I remember, look, I've had like 102 fever, but been up on stage. CJ, I remember, he had a broken leg and he came on a wheelchair or holding crutches and he performed. I still remember we were shooting for Comic Stan. Just before I got on the shoot floor, I got a call that my friend's chopper went down and that he's the only survivor of that crash, but he's not doing too well and it's a touch and go. And I remember I had full makeup on at that time and I didn't know and I still remember the production person saying, cry, it's okay, cry, we'll do your makeup again. And I said, isn't the shot ready? They said yes, and I walked on stage. I still remember it was the roast round for Comic Stan.
Oh my God.
And how I sat through that and how and it was a round where everybody was insulting me anyway. So it's a roast round and to listen to that and then come back with like counter roast on the spot. At the back of your head, you're like, please God, let him live. But that's the job. What else do you do? I had myself a massive cry for the next 3 days, but I don't think it would show on camera, except for maybe my eyes looked smaller than usual.
So, what has stood out for you in 15 years of doing stand up comic?
In terms of,
In terms of your personal growth, in terms of some learnings, in terms of like, I'll never do this.
okay, in terms of learnings, like I said, we were brats and we would say anything to get a laugh. But now, with great responsibility, or rather, because of great power came great responsibility. Let me put it that way. I'm being very honest. But the thing is, I don't think stand-up comedians ever grow up. We definitely always be the court jesters, and our prime objective is always to make someone laugh.
Yeah.
That's why people are like, when people are getting offended or hurt, and no one is more bewildered than us saying, but we were just trying to make you laugh. And I mean it genuinely. I'm not defending good comedy, bad comedy. Yes, there's bad comedy because every profession has the bad also, right? But our sole objective is to make people laugh, yeah. And now we've become a little more aware of maybe what can be said, what not can't be said. However, we are still bewildered over new rules being thrown our way every now and then. ये भी नहीं कह सकते सर ये कब हुआ इसमें क्या खराबी थी but just because you're being trolled so much or there's harassment FIRs being filed against you, you're like, okay, then okay, fine, let's stay away from this. But that thing is just getting narrower and narrower. And I'm just hoping at some point audiences will stand up for us and say, यार हँसाओ यार ठीक है.
नहीं देखो मैं ये पूछना नहीं चाह रही थी बट आप बार-बार वो उस पे ला रहे हो कि एफआईआर और लोग हमारे अगेंस्ट खड़े हो जाते हैं और ऑल दैट इज गोइंग ऑन इन द कॉमेडी सर्कल आई हैव टू आस्क यू नाउ
Please ask.
okay so the last that I saw you was at India's Got Talent
Yeah.
and of course everybody was laughing and of course everybody was having fun and of course everybody was like trying to make fun of the people or the contestants
contestants,
or
yeah.
whosoever they come. So the whole show went off because of course we all know why. How have you processed this
Like
as a comedian, as a person who was also in that show, as having other peers doing what they're doing? How did you process this?
Look, honestly, I remember in my episode, I kept quiet. Because
I have
just,
seen that.
I don't think any part of me, it's like a 17-year-old kid has come and she's trying to do stand up. She's terrible at it. But I couldn't bring myself to insult her. I just couldn't do it. And that's the format of the show, that you insult the contestants and the contestants know what they're in for. It's not like they don't know what's going on or suddenly they're being caught off guard. That is Samir Raina's brand of comedy. And people came in fully informed. And I have to say that the show did a lot of good for people too. There were a lot of new talent discovered. There were so many people writing in gratitude to Samir. They got money, they got fame, they got recognition, which they would have just been one of the others in life never getting the spotlight.
Hmm.
So that show did a lot of good also. Yes, it did cross some lines, but then you tell us and we mend our ways and we carry on. You don't make something disappear. Uh, so personally, I couldn't say anything because I couldn't bring myself to be mean. It's not in my DNA to do it.
So
But
then you're disqualified from the show.
pretty much I
The
got
show
told
only
for
got-
being quiet only. They're like, आपने तो कुछ बोला ही नहीं. मैं कहा ठीक है, मैंने snacks खा लिए. It was good. You just went to, you didn't get
Support.
paid for it. You were just there.
Hmm.
So that was one. Look, you can agree with the comedy, you can disagree with the comedy, but this level of harassment, this level of just getting after somebody, you don't understand the amount of mental pressure you can put on somebody. What if that boy killed himself yesterday? Who would take responsibility?
Hmm.
And for what? For what?
Yeah.
Surely there are bigger crimes out there.
Yeah, that's true. So when honestly, I like the way Samay talks and the way that he actually gives his subtle punches, but वो सारा गंदा काम दूसरों से कराता है जो वहाँ पे बैठे हैं तभी but sadly now he is of course the front of the scanner right
Tama is a kid. He also needs growing up. But like थोड़ा पेरेंटल हैंड से करो ना, सौतेला बच्चा समझ के तो मत ट्रीट करो हमें. Like just
right okay so coming back to your trolling
Right.
because you just mentioned. So you are being trolled definitely.
All the time.
आप कह रहे हैं आप न्यूज़ नहीं पढ़ते बट आप ट्रोल तो सारे न्यूज़ की वजह से ही हो रहे हो.
So it's just that when you express your opinion and you genuinely mean what you're saying, there'll always be somebody who agrees and somebody who doesn't. I'd like to believe that a lot of these very unreasonable and very mentally debilitated people are not real people. They are probably just paid trolls, is what I like to believe right now. Because it'll take away my faith in humanity if I think those are real people writing that kind of stuff on my timeline.
Acha, tell me, what is your writing desk looking like at all times? What is it there? Can you describe for me? I'm very intrigued by it.
My writing desk is so messy that I can't write on it anymore.
Really?
So I sit on a couch or I'll find a cafe or I'll find a floor. I don't know.
नहीं, पर उसके अंदर क्या है? लाइक आपके कुछ ऐसे चिट्स बना के रखते हो या कोई पोस्ट-इट्स लगाते हो? कुछ तो होगा, लाइक यू नो, टू गेट द
Honestly, okay. When I used to go to perform at the comedy club or at the comedy store, I used to run in, open my writing pad, and people would be like, you know how comedians write stuff on the writing pad. उसमें से 50 फर्रे गिरते थे. Because कोई thought कहीं आया है, कोई thought कहीं आया है, and then I would just play Tetris with those. I would just put them up saying ये वाला, ये इससे connect होता है, ऐसे ऐसे. I would just stare at them like this, and then I'd go on stage. So obviously those jokes were written, but these were little mental notes for myself कि हाँ ये. And I still remember one comedian who's very methodical got very mad at me saying ऐसे कौन काम करता है? Because I half the times forget my own jokes. And somebody else will be like, that was the best joke of the set. वो तो तूने बोला ही नहीं. I'm like, oh, वो तो भूल गई. One more पर्ची would come on. So I'm trying to be a little more organized now.
But actually, what happens? Do you actually ratto everything and go, and then if you forget, then what happens?
You carry on.
No, like
See, okay.
or you have 1 hour to perform.
Oh, 1 hour, see. 1 hour is better because you can riff a lot.
That's
1 hour is the audiences come for you. So they will give you a lot of leeway, right? So you can explore a thought, explore an idea. Most of it is scripted because they paid money. So तुम्हारी exploring के लिए नहीं आया
हाँ.
वो. So वो भी है. But in a shorter set, you have to be very punchline, punchline, punchline. You have to be very crisp. Also, you're literally competing with the other comedians also कि मुझे भी उतने laughs चाहिए. So I call the whole process of creating jokes boiling milk. You start off with this much. Like you've written this, you go to open mics, you test it. किस पे हंसे, किस पे नहीं हंसे. Then you try and cut some words. So the final joke will be the least possible words to get to the punchline. Crispest way to say what you want to say.
तो ये सब
Substituting
सीखते
one
हैं
word
क्या?
from another to because that word sounds funnier. No, this is all experience.
All experience.
There are enough books out there to tell you, but this is frankly finally all experience.
Yeah, I can imagine because जो पिटता भी है वो तो रियल में ही पिट रहा होता है ना, because
Definitely.
literally. So I think you come back with that and say, okay, next time I need to do this better.
Yeah.
Right?
But these days, you get such a varied audience because the kind of audience that used to come in to watch comedy back then versus the kind of audience that's coming into these छोटे clubs on a day-to-day basis is very different. आप busking करके लोगों को बुलाते हो. So they were never intending to come for a show, but you're like, आ जाओ. It's literally आप जैसे मोमो sellers की तरह, बहन जी भाई साहब शो है, आ जाओ. इतने बजे so and so performer आ जाओ. Those people come. They didn't have you on their schedule. Now to make their time worth their while,
Of course.
that. So it's a very different ball game right now.
अच्छा, फिर मेरे को ये बताओ कि ऐसा कोई इंस्टेंस है जिसमें you remember that okay, in so many years that is one incident that I just can't forget. Whether it was good, bad, ugly, I don't know. Mostly the ugliest ones, of course, you can't forget. But
अगली
maybe
वाले
just-
भी हैं, but मैं अच्छा वाला पहले बोल
हाँ, पहले अच्छा वाला फिर ugly one.
So normally comedians feel that corporate shows, though they are the bread earners for us, sometimes they're also the soul suckers. Because those people again haven't paid money to come watch you. Imagine their situation. They've been in some
like a meeting.
in a
pulled out.
meeting, बंद
Presentation.
पूरा दिन
Correct.
presentation, उनको targets दिए गए हैं, उनको ज्ञान दिया गया है, उन्हें mission statements दिए गए हैं. And then in the evening जब उन्हें खुला छोड़ा दिया है थोड़ी देर के लिए, they think finally drinks, DJ, networking, flirting, whatever they want to do. उस time पे they're like again herded into a room saying नहीं ये comedian listen. So a lot of them are like, I mean, a lot of times that happens, right? उस situation में when you do well, that feels great. So I still remember this guy came up to me after a corporate show. He comes up to me and he showed me he had a cut on his nose, which was bleeding. So he's like, "You did this." And in my head, my first thought went to, because दिल्ली से हूँ ना, so first thought went into, मैंने कोई ऐसा जोक बोला जिसमें इन्होंने एक दूसरे को मुक्का मार दिया? And he said, "No, I laughed so hard. I was drinking beer. I hit my nose. My specs broke."
Really?
And I was like, "That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me." Like, I need
तू
stitches.
ब्रांडेड ले ले भाई.
It was so funny, but it's the biggest compliment I've ever got.
Yeah, so cool.
How do you forget something like this?
Yeah, that is true. अब गंदा वाला भी बताओ.
गंदे वाले तो बहुत हैं. So, like off chance में भी ऐसा होता है, like पहले जब imagine you've gone to an off site like a Goa or a Trivandrum really far off, and वहाँ पे show अच्छा नहीं गया है, and the next morning you have to meet the same people again for buffet, and then they're all kind of saying, they're being polite. Some of them are avoiding your look because you were that bad or it went that bad. So ये वाले भी होते हैं हमारे साथ.
नहीं, बट कोई जिसको आपने लगा कि जैसे दे टुक इट सो पर्सनली कि पर्सनल अटैक है मेरे ऊपर एंड दे स्टार्टेड आर्ग्यूइंग, ऐसा कभी हुआ है?
In the middle
What
of
the
the
hell?
show.
No, maybe at the end to say somebody grabbed you and said, "What the hell? I mean, who the hell are you to say this?"
I remember early days of comedy it had happened. We were all a bunch of comedians going up one after the other in the Gurgaon and Gurugram. Sorry. And
नहीं, हम गुड़गांव बोलते हैं.
हैं, ठीक है. तो हमें अलाउड नहीं है ना. तो वहाँ पे, you know how there's always somebody in the audience who wants attention. So there was this dude with this chick, and he was like all anything a comedian would say, he would like maro some counterpoint, which is technically called heckling. Which
Okay.
therefore technically gives a comedian permission to come at you, right? I don't pick on my audience till they pick on me first. My theory. So अब पहले comedian से पंगा लिया, दूसरे से लिया, मैं देख रही थी. So all of us took pot shots at him, and then मेरी बारी आई, मैंने तो बहुत मजे लिए, and everybody was laughing, and he stood up and took a bow and all, so everything was cool. But I'd learned early in the career, so I finished my set and I left. And he apparently caught one of the comics, male comics, and
हाँ.
like, वो लड़की किधर है? And like, वो तो गई, मुझे क्यों मार रहा है भाई तू? So yeah, things like that happened.
तो आपको ये पता है कि आप फेमिनिस्ट हो और यू नो आपकी जो आवाज़ है वो बहुत बुलंद है और आप बहुत सारी चीज़ों के बारे में बात करते हो जो कि शायद नहीं करनी चाहिए एज अ गर्ल. तो आपको कैसे लगता है बीइंग लाइक अ फर्स्ट गर्ल यू नो स्टैंड अप कॉमिक एंड बीइंग ऑलवेज टोल्ड यू आर द गर्ल कॉमेडियन,
Yeah.
यू नो
Oh.
हाउ डज दैट मेक यू फील?
So honestly, when I started out comedy, I was doing it because I loved making people laugh. मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था कि मैं कुछ अलग कर रही हूँ. And I remember
आपको बताया नहीं जाता घर में या आसपास से या इट्स
उस टाइम कोई नहीं था
कंडीशनिंग
ना.
और ये स्टीरियोटाइप जिसके बारे में हम बात करते हैं
वो सारे
आप
बाद
बहुत
में आए.
परे थे.
नहीं वही तो.
अच्छा.
See, army upbringing, right? Mom, dad never really differentiated. Suddenly somebody started telling me, like I remember the first, some lady from the press who's like, "How does it feel like being a female comedian?" So I said, "Huh?" I said, "I don't know. I've never been any other kind." You know, those questions took me off guard, and then I started noticing the difference in the treatment I was being given. पहले तो open mics में चलो, you know, it's the paid shows and all that you started noticing that audiences were treating you differently. Even if you were getting off stage, a male comedian was being told you're very funny. मेरे को बोला जा रहा था you were really bold. I'm like,
अच्छा. वाह.
मैंने ऐसा क्या कह दिया? You know, and then, and even though they didn't mean it badly, those were actually compliments.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that, then the society ka conditioning and all, and suddenly, I still remember in the wake of the Nirbhaya thing, I was doing a show and I was angry. My persona was not angry on stage, and I was telling these jokes, and something was coming out of me, which, you know, every one of us was shook up at that time. And I still remember that entire show, I think I must have cursed once. And I remember this uncle ji saying, "बेटा अच्छा था, पर ये गाली मत किया करो." So I said, "Uncle, आपको 45 minutes में एक गाली याद है, आपको 45 minutes में मैंने क्या बोला उनमें से एक भी चीज़ याद नहीं है, तो मे बी आपको अपनी सोच बदलनी पड़ेगी." I remember because you know I am saying so much, आपके साथ कुछ और रजिस्टर नहीं हो रहा, आपके पास सिर्फ वो रजिस्टर ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए, सिर्फ वो रजिस्टर हो रहा है. What? So I counter lecture people now. I don't know.
What do you think of the other women comedians who have now surfaced? There's a lot.
Yeah.
But one thing which comes out with everybody is either it's sex or it's vagina or it's like all the hot topics of today.
Right.
Is it to like get more like people watch you and just because you should get more traction? Or why is everybody like talking about these very similar kind of topics?
Okay, like I said, when you're starting out, you always go for the lowest hanging fruit. I've done a lot of my share of sex jokes because those were easier to do and they would get a reaction faster.
Hmm.
As for, I can't speak for other women, but I can say this that it's already when you're on stage. This is what I'm now feeling because they can feel it a lot more than I do now.
Hmm.
Um, you're already a rebel when you're on stage and telling jokes as a woman. So, some part of you, therefore, is trying to establish that territory and establish you as alpha. So, you will say these shocking things to tell people, listen, I'm here to be heard. So, you end up saying things like this. But that being said, there are so many male comedians who talk about their private parts,
Which is true.
their girlfriends. So why are the women being questioned all the time? If women talk about their periods, it's something happening to them, right? So they are experiencing it and they're talking about it. Men talk about their, boners all the time. They are not being questioned. So why is it always the question is on the woman that tum dirty karte ho, tum ye karte ho? How come none of the guys are being asked, tum itni gali kyun dete ho? That level
ये
feel
तो
nahi hai.
क्वेश्चन मैंने भी अपना शो का कंटेंट मेरा मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा इस क्वेश्चन से. It was only for that reason. But
Yeah.
I think everybody should have a voice of their own. And you speak a lot about owning your voice, right? That you're unique, you own your voice. You always like have this, I don't know if it's especially for the women out there because we still need to like literally show up for ourselves. But there is a lot that I feel that you say, through your comedy and otherwise as well. Because when I see your reels, I see a very beautiful person who's also like a coach and like, a mentor of sorts. So is there something that, you want to portray through your work for women in particular, or where does that come from? Is there some thought behind it, or just because you feel responsible for so many?
No, I'll tell you the time I feel responsible is when you're in part of a lineup where they're all male comics and you're the only female. And you're like, okay, I should be allowed to fail some days. Like I said, it's hit and trial. You win some, you lose some. But what happens in scenarios like this is people don't say that she wasn't funny. They say women are not funny. So you fail you fail your entire gender, which is the scary type,
That is
right?
scary, yeah.
But look, when I'm writing jokes or telling jokes, it's something that's coming from within me. I don't write them on purpose कि मेरे को ऐसा ही करना है. It just comes out. So a lot of the jokes I've written, social messaging will come because there's a point to why I'm saying that joke. A lot of people tend to see the content and not the intent and then get offended. It's always the case, तुम joke कहाँ से आ रहा है, and there's always some element of a truth in a joke. So if I'm talking about, even if I'm talking about say female feticide or I'm talking about eve teasing, आप बोल रहे हो कि हाय हाय ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया इसने कि ये किया वो किया. Bhai, why are you not offended by the fact that there's female feticide and eve teasing? That's why someone's doing jokes about it. They are getting offended by the jokes. वो गलत दुम पकड़ के खड़े हैं.
सही बात.
I'm not out here to mentor anybody or to like be the guiding light because I'm flawed, boss. So don't follow me. I'm lost.
ये फॉलो तो कर रहे हैं लोग और सुन भी रहे हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है.
हाँ,
आप अच्छा भी बोल रहे हो, ऐसी भी, I mean, I don't take that away from you
Thank you.
because you are actually inspiring a lot. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thanks.
I want to show you a photo and I want to know who these people are, by the way, okay? So for
Oh
that,
dear, what have you pulled out?
this is a very old photo of yours and with a bunch of people who are sitting here. And you can kindly tell me who all are here in this picture.
Oh, this is my comic stand ka bachas.
Okay.
Who are not bachas anymore. They're
Yeah,
doing
how
really
old is
well.
this photo?
This is Comic Stan season 2. So I guess 6 years ago, maybe. I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. Samay, of course, everybody knows. That's Joel. That's Saurav. Who's that? Nivedit. No, that's Ramapriya. And this is Ronak Rajani. Akash Gupta, everybody knows. Shrija, everybody knows. And this is a very funny girl called Devanshi. I want to pronounce her name right.
तो सिर्फ तुमने इसके बारे में देयर इज अ वेरी फनी गर्ल क्यों बोला?
Because I don't know how famous she is compared to
अच्छा।
all the others right now, but she's doing well.
ओह ग्रेट। और एक ये फोटो देखो जरा, इसमें कहते हैं द चीकी फेमिनिस्ट।
Oh, the gold ring. That's the gold ring. Yeah.
So basically tell me about your fetish for
Bikes.
bikes.
Well, to be fair, I didn't ride that alone. It was too heavy for me.
अच्छा।
It's been a while now. I don't know. Because every time I've sat pillion on a two-wheeler, I've been in an accident. So I'd rather ride it.
बट ये बहुत भारी है भाई to
And
ride.
that's why I said कि मेरी this time I was pillion on this one, and thankfully we didn't crash also. There is one with a Hayabusa which I was posing on. Did not ride, too heavy for me. But yeah, I do. I mean, I like bikes.
But you like your tomboyish kind of look and feel.
I've always been a tomboy. All my life I've been a tomboy.
Okay. So it goes very well with that image, for sure.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
is it that's why you're posing also, whether you can ride it or not, you're still posing with it to say,
hey, did you see? I'm all talked out in the
"My
Gita.
God,
I did
that's
ride
for
it.
photo."
I did ride it.
You did.
इतनी कमिटमेंट कौन दिखाता है फोटो को?
भाई पता नहीं इमेज के बारे में, तुम लोग सारे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स हो, कुछ भी कर सकते हो, पहन भी सकते हो।
अच्छा, oh, नहीं, please don't call me an
Oh,
influencer.
you are not?
I'm talented. Sorry, influencers. You know, some of you really suck. Some of you really
Oh
suck.
my goodness. सो नहीं, मुझे बताओ अगर यहाँ पर कुछ तुम्हें कुछ बोलना हो अच्छा, मतलब जो कि हमारे शो के लिए बट बहुत ही बढ़िया मेमोरी भी हो, और इसकी वजह से सेकंड एक्ट का ये जो पॉडकास्ट है वो बहुत लीप्स एंड बाउंड्स जाए, कुछ तो करके दिखाओ यार।
क्या करके दिखाओ? हे भगवान!
मतलब कुछ तो बोल के दिखाओ।
About what?
I don't know. I mean, you are like, you know, you stand up and you do so many things. It's just like you can sit down and do something today.
Sit down and do something. I don't even know what to do here right now. थोड़ा सा अनवेग कर दो ब्रीफ तो मैं कर भी दूंगी.
यार ऐसा है कि मतलब स्टैंड अप के लिए मुझे तो पता नहीं क्या ब्रीफ दी जाती है, टू बी ऑनेस्ट। मुझे ये भी नहीं पता कि हाउ इंस्टेंटली कैन यू मेक अ पन आउट ऑफ समथिंग, और
Sometimes you can and you land in trouble, but that's called audience interaction also.
सेकंड एक्ट के नाम से कुछ सोच के बताओ।
Second act के नाम से. There are a lot of influencers out there.
ये इन्फ्लुएंसर्स की ले ली इसकी।
जिसमें you know, act 1 में promising थे, then there's a second act. I don't think they deserve a third act at all. The second act में story खत्म हो जानी चाहिए.
वाह। इन्फ्लुएंसर्स, अब तुम मेरे पॉडकास्ट पे आओगे और इसके बारे
मेरी
में
बहुत बैंड बजाओगे, मेरे को ट्रोल करोगे, कोई बात नहीं. That's more traction algorithm. You know it better than anyone else.
ओके, सो टेल मी, हमारा एक सेक्शन है आई एम सॉरी बट नॉट सॉरी। ओके,
Okay.
सो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिस
Sounds like me.
sounds like it.
Okay, so like you said, you know, early days again, I remember I was doing jokes, and also because I was the only female comedian in Delhi doing jokes, I remember doing some jokes about men and women. And I remember one woman asked me later, ki, why did you make fun of girls? You should have made fun of only guys. And I'm like, but why? Women are not so weak that they can't take a joke. So
Wow.
I'm sorry, but not sorry. I'm going to joke about anything I find funny. You can't tell me कि women की मत करो joke.
Brilliant.
It's a little weird. So yeah.
Abhi, of course, I'm sure that so many people have asked you, who's your favorite comedian?
Who's my favorite comedian? I think hands down Varun Grover. I love the man. He's very intelligent. His humor is the kind of humor I want to do in life is what he does. And his command over everything, man. He's just my favorite comic.
So cool. Varun Grover, that goes for you. Nice. Okay, so of course, another part that is incomplete for the podcast if we don't ask you what's your second act. And I know you said I have third act, fourth act, fifth act. वो नहीं पूछ रहे. Second act एक metaphor है
हाँ.
of like, you know, your next step, your reinvention, your rediscovery, or, you know, something that, you know, is still not there. But you're looking for it, and yeah, inshallah, you'll get there.
Okay, like I told you, I've changed 3 professions already. Currently, stand-up comedy is still giving me a lot of joy. My second act is trying to find a way to do comedy, still say what I want to say, and stay out of jail. That's definitely my second act, man.
ये कौन जेल जा रहा है अभी? सब यही हो, सब ठीक है.
Well, the FIRs are coming in and inshallah. Oh, sorry, भगवान के नाम पे. Sorry. Oh, oh, ये edit कर.
तो बिफोर यू गो बताओ अगर क्या है वो प्लेबुक फॉर एन अपकमिंग कॉमिक टुडे?
प्लेबुक इज थोड़ा बाहर जाओ, ओपन माइक्स करो. 4 ओपन माइक्स के बाद ये मत सोचो आई एम किलिंग इट मैन, आई एम किलिंग इट ब्रो. नो, यू आर नॉट. बिकॉज कल को जब कॉर्पोरेट शो में जाओगे ना, फ्लोटर्स पहन के और माँ बहन की गाली दोगे तो हम सबके पेट पे भी तुम लात मारते हो. अदर देन दैट
ये किसके लिए पता नहीं, बट हाँ किसी के है जो
सारे अपकमिंग कॉमिक्स एंड ऑल्सो फाइंड योर ओरिजिनल वॉइस मैन. ये दो मैंने इतने सुने हैं जो ये यंगस्टर्स, जॉर्ज कार्लिन ये कहता है, लुई सी के ये कहता है. यार तू क्या कहता है? एंड बट यू नो, टू बी ऑनेस्ट, आजकल अलग अलग टाउन से जो आ रहे हैं ना, जो अपने एक्सपीरियंसेस ला रहे हैं, beautiful. None of us have lived that life, what they are bringing on stage. So people are listening because they have something unique to say. So find your unique voice. You are unique. Wish my mother had said that to me.
I'm sure she had. And that's why we have a unique piece here. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and this beautiful one is sitting here, and so much that we have taken away from her today. It's such an honor to have you, Neeti.
Thank you so much.
And खूब पलटते रहो और I'm sure you were trolled for this in school also.
Palta all the time.
All
And
the time.
still trolled all the time. My
Keep
show's
trolling
called
up.
Ulta Palta, so.
So yeah, that I heard. So keep the Ulta Palta here and keep showing up. And more to the stand-up comics and making us laugh and making this world a beautiful place.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.